Yeah, because when you focus on something, like people always want to do something, okay? And the easiest example is the new year. January 1st, everyone's going to lose weight, get fit, make some kind of goal, and they set all these goals, and then it wavers. By week 3, they stop going to the gym, they stop eating right, they stop thinking about the goal they want to achieve in their work, and that's the waver, right? They just go on to other things, they're distracted. They don't have that fortitude, they don't have that resolve to move forward. So it can never waver. You've got to stay in it till you win it. That's just how it is.
Welcome to Relatable Wisdom, the podcast where everyday people share the quotes that have shaped their lives, offering you daily doses of wisdom to carry into your own journey. Today I'm joined by Richard Walsh, a marine veteran turned entrepreneur who's built businesses, written best-selling books, and even sculpted steel into art. After losing everything in 2008 with 6 young children at home, he discovered something powerful about resilience and rebuilding that he now shares with business owners everywhere. Let's dive into Richard's story and discover the quote that helped him guide him through his darkest moments towards something greater. Okay, tell me your name and a little bit about yourself and your favorite quote.
Sure. I'm Richard Walsh. I'm 35-year seasoned entrepreneur. I'm a best-selling author. I'm a champion boxer, U.S. Marine. I'm a black belt. I'm an internationally recognized steel sculptor. I'm a husband and father of 6 children. And currently I'm a what they call a frontline leadership architect. So I'm really out building leadership mastery on the front lines in the blue-collar business and manufacturing. That's a big thing I focus on.
Okay. Tell us about your favorite quote.
What's that?
Tell us about your favorite quote.
My favorite quote? Oh, there's so many. I'll give you a favorite one, though. Here's my favorite. I'll give it to you. It is to a goal that never wavers. Resolution. This is the basic principle in the life of every truly great character. He who resolves upon any great and good end has, by that very resolution, clothed himself in power and has scaled the chief barrier to it. And that was from a guy named Steve Ilg, I believe. He wrote a book called The Outdoor Athlete about 25, 30 years ago. Read that in the book. He didn't have any credits. He just had it in bold, so I'm giving him all the credit. That's a powerful quote because for me especially, I'm about grit. I'm about doing whatever it takes to achieve a goal, continually working through, being consistent, moving forward, just having that resolve, right, to get it done. So it's really important that you're able to push through all the adversity to get your outcome. When you stop short, when you quit, it's just not something that's in me. I want to go all the way through to make it achieve. And sometimes it takes 5 and 10 times longer than you thought. But once you get there, again, that's scaling to greatness.
Could you repeat that quote? It's a mouthful.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ready?
Dedication. This time, so I can process it. Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
Dedication to a goal that never wavers. Resolution. This is the basic principle in the life of every truly great character. He who resolves upon any great and good end has, by that very resolution, clothed himself in power and has scaled the chief barrier to it.
Wow. Dedication to a goal that never wavers.
Right. Yeah, that's the short version.
I mean, let me hold on to that first. Dedication to a goal that never wavers. What does it mean to be dedicated to a goal that never wavers? I thought goals change.
Yeah, because when you focus on something, like people always want to do something, okay? And the easiest example is the new year. January 1st, everyone's going to lose weight, get fit, make some kind of goal, and they set all these goals, and then it wavers. By week 3, they stop going to the gym, they stop eating right, they stop thinking about the goal they want to achieve in their work, and that's the waver, right? They just go on to other things, they're distracted. They don't have that fortitude, they don't have that resolve to move forward. So it can never waver. You've got to stay in it till you win it. That's just how it is.
Right now, I'm wondering if I think it's in both cases where the dedication itself it wavers, and then the goal itself it wavers, right? So
Right.
I'll give an example of what I mean. Let's say I want to start a podcast, right? I want to podcast consistently. That's the example that it's readily available for me right now. My dedication to that goal could waver. Like, I mean, I'm like 2 months in, I'm like, no. I mean, I forgot about the podcast, so many stuff and things happened. I'm not doing the podcast. And then what could also happen is that I could change my goal, even though it was start a podcast, I could change it to something else. And of course, improving the goal, because as we move on in the journey, we realize that, we were actually thinking too small when we started, but now that we can see more, we can realize how much is possible. But I could also change the goal to fit me in a situation that it's it's you know how we put 100 things in our to-do list that are absolutely nonsense, such that so that at the end of the day it's easy for to just tick them. I'll give an example. Sit at my desk. That could be a to-do list item. What other thing could be a to-do list? Check my computer. So at the end of the day, you're ticking off like 30, 40 things like that you did for that day. But that's just nonsense.
Yeah, you haven't achieved anything.
Yeah.
All you've done, there's another one, there's another thing. Don't confuse motion with progress. A rocking horse stays in motion but doesn't make any progress. Your to-do list is oftentimes motion. There's nothing big on there. You don't have time limits on it. You don't have reasons. You just have a list that can randomly be done. It's not in priority or anything else. To-do lists are way overrated. They're not focused on the real income producing business needle moving activities that you need as a business owner, right? If that's your goal, or as a podcast host. What does that really mean? Like I can record 50 episodes in a month. Okay, I did that. I was in motion, but now what? I haven't made any progress with it. I have a bunch of recordings sitting on my computer, and I just wasted 50 plus hours of my life doing that until they become uploaded, titles, descriptions, YouTube, the whole thing, put them out there, now move them, now get people to listen. Now, how can I monetize this? What do I really have to do to monetize this? Should I collaborate with all the people on the podcast? Are they people in my same wheelhouse that we could work together? We could leverage each other. That's progress. That's not just emotion.
Yeah. It's easy to confuse motion for progress.
Yeah.
Like something is moving. And sometimes you might not even be moving. Sometimes all you just need to do is to sit still. Like that's the goal at that point in time, to just sit still. Not even do anything, not even say anything. Or like, oh, I'm not making progress. I have to do this stuff. I know like, dude, you just have to like keep posting from until the next 100 episodes. Wait. But what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to get, no, just keep doing what you're doing.
Well, yeah, that comes down to consistency, right? I mean,
Yeah.
consistency is where you win. Okay, winning happens with consistency. That's the same thing as dedication, a goal that never wavers, which means you consistently are working towards achieving this goal. Okay, if I have, as the saying goes, a giant 5-foot wide oak tree in my backyard and I want to chop it down, but I only get to take 3 swings with an axe a day. Okay, but every day I walk out, I pick up the axe and chop, put it down, head off to work. Well, it's not coming down in a week or a month or a year. But in 3 years, timber, the tree comes down, right? Because I consistently took those 3 hacks every single day. That's where people drop the ball, is consistency. And we've all done it at one time or another, one way or another, right? No one.
Let's take a quick pause. If you're enjoying this conversation and want more thought-provoking ideas straight to your inbox, join the Relatable Wisdom email list. It's free, quick, and filled with bite-sized insights, inspiring quotes, and behind-the-scenes reflections from our guests. Just head to relatablewisdom.com/join. That is relatablewisdom.com/join, or tap the link in the show notes. And hey, subscribing to the podcast helps more than you think, and it's free. So if you haven't already, hit that follow button wherever you're listening. All right, let's get back to the conversation.
Yeah. No one has been perfectly consistent their whole life, I guarantee you. Yeah. Everyone's got a non-consistent story. Yeah. For me, it's the fact that after some time, let's say 1 year, 2 years pass, you realize that the time passed. I might as well have just done the thing that I said I was going to do. Now I have 2 years and nothing to show for it. 3 years and nothing. It's hard. And the time goes very quickly. And this is that illusion of busy, of motion and not progress. You feel like you've been doing all this stuff. Hey, I published 150 episodes on my podcast. We'll stick with that, right? And I haven't made a dime. I don't really collaborate, but man, I got 150 episodes. I really killed it. I'm really good at interviewing people.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're no good at making money. So we got to balance that out, right? We got to say, okay. And again, we all kind of get into that. There's another good saying where people overestimate what they can accomplish in a year and underestimate what they can accomplish in 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and it's so true. We all want me too. And I'm not young anymore. I do a lot of stuff and I am all keyed up to get stuff done in a hurry. And it never happens in a hurry. Okay. I make
Yeah.
progress. I might be faster to some people that they think I'm fast, but to me, it like took too long. So it's all in our own head, but it's really getting intentional about the actions we're taking. That's how you beat that.
Yeah. 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 Earlier on, when you fill the form, the quote you filled in was "do hard things," right? And when
Yeah.
I said share the story, you said after all of my accomplishments, I realized it was because I embraced doing the difficult things to make it possible. So now I'm always looking for the next hard thing to do so
Yes.
I can continue to grow.
Yeah, hard things are. Here's the thing about hard things. So people will do a hard thing. I'm going to run a marathon, and they go and they run the marathon, and then you know what they do? Nothing. Okay, so that they think, "Oh, I'm good for 5 years now. I don't need to do another hard thing." I trained for 16 weeks and I ran 26 miles. Like, so what? Like, what's next? Like there has to be the next hard thing in your life. And listen, it's not just physical. Okay. You want to know what's really hard for me?
What's that?
Working on the computer.
Hmm.
Okay. I will swing a sledgehammer. I will dig a shovel. I will work out all day long. No problem. Nope. That's not a hard thing. To me, it's fun. I go very hard with it and I keep my skills sharp, but come and do like this kind of work and write it, that's hard. Okay. Navigate this, put this stuff together. That is
Yeah.
I mean, and to someone else, you're thinking, you kidding? I do that all day. I go, yeah, you do. Come work out with me and see how you feel. I'll show you what I
Yeah.
do all day, So it's just, you know what I mean? We've all got our thing. And that's what we need to understand is what is the hard things for us and then go do
Yeah.
them, accomplish them, check them off and go get the next. It's time under tension like when you lift. The longer you're under the weight, the stronger you get. The more hard things you do leads to the next harder thing. And you get better and better at doing hard things. All of a sudden, what used to be a struggle is now easy
Yeah.
because you have a perspective now of what truly is hard in that
Yeah.
realm.
Still remember when I was young, carrying a 10-liter gallon of water was, man, you need to see me. Like I was really, really young. I'll put my two hands, I'll pull my leg. I'm trying to lift this thing. This stuff would not budge. And I'm like, well, now 10-liter or a gallon of water, that's piece of cake. I mean, you just put that stuff. There's no big deal. But then, man, sometimes the gallon will end up carrying me.
Right.
So now I look back, I realize that my capacity then was like very low in terms of physical strength and all that. But same thing with mental capacity in terms of skills and all that. You realize that it's hard because you don't even have those skills yet. And you have to like force yourself through the process, which in other words, hard things and all that, such that at the end of the day, when you come out of it, you realize that, oh, now it's easier. It's just like, college students who, when they studying calculus and all that, there was a time when arithmetic was a struggle for them, but now that's just because they have
Right.
the skills now, so they've done the next hard thing, so the previous thing looks like a piece of cake, and now they're looking back and they're like, I can't believe that stuff was a nightmare for me. What was going on? What on earth was I thinking, right? But most people don't want to move on to the next stage, and the thing is that moving to the next stage is what makes this previous stage easier, with what makes it easy and feel like a piece.
You know what I think they're also afraid of? You know where everybody starts when they do something new? You know where they start? They start
Zero.
at off. They start at awful. Not even zero. They
Mm.
start at awful. Okay, they're awful at it. Okay, no one wants to
Uh,
go and be awful. They don't want that experience.
so
They don't want to be seen as like, I can't swing a baseball bat. I can't throw a ball. I can't, whatever. I can't shoot a gun. Whatever it is. Just understand that's where everybody begins. Everybody. And then we get from awful to like not so awful. Then we slowly creep up to like okay and then good, then better and very good. Then we get to excellent. And that's over years of doing, again, being consistent, perfecting the skill. Like for me, boxing, I still hit the bag, and I haven't been in the ring in 35 years. Okay. So, but I can still rock that bag. I do it multiple times a week. I do 8 3-minute rounds and it looks like I'm training for a fight. Okay. Because but now
yeah,
I have 35 years of throwing punches. That's a lot of punches. Okay. So
yeah,
I'm pretty good at it. Okay. I'm way past the awful stage. I'm kind of up in the mastery. I'm in the mastery level, right? So, but that's because
yeah,
I've done it for so long. That's all it is. It's just time in.
I mean, earlier on you mentioned that most people confuse motion for this, and in the same vein, I would also like to clarify for those that are listening that sometimes people they go internet and they're like, oh, you have to hustle, you have to do this, you have to do that, and of course working hard is great, it's fantastic, but I think as Warren Buffett said, it doesn't matter how hard you work if you're on the
Right. Yeah.
and and in the same context, it doesn't matter how you spend 12 hours, 15 hours, 20, working on something, doing something. If what you're doing is not, it's not the, what's the word? I think I should use the word, the right.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's very true. You can't, that's kind of the lie of the hustle and grind culture. You got to hustle and grind. And it's like, yeah, it's like, that's a cute saying, but what does it really mean? Just work harder? Okay, that is not a recipe for success. It isn't. It's just some guy who came up with a thing to say to sell you a course. Okay. Like it's just like hustle and grind, like work harder. Like, oh, you're only working 14 hours a day. You need to work 17 hours a day and then you'll be
Yeah,
there. Like that's literally what they're saying. Instead of, oh, say I work 14 hours a day. Why don't I work 7, totally focus on income producing activities only, and I'll make 10 times the money I'm making now and I'll work half as much. Wow. That's my hustle and grind culture. That's what I want. I'll do. I'm not going to work more hours. I'm going to be smarter. I'm going to understand what I'm actually doing, what I'm wasting my time on, what's not producing for me. Zero into it. Yeah, there's always menial tasks and things, but I'm going to farm those out. I'm going to get the
yeah,
VA. I'm going to get an AI agent now that'll do stuff. I'm like, I can't be distracted by that stuff that burns up time. Okay, I'll give you a quick
yeah.
example. Had a guy and he's working for this company I'm coaching, and he took like we're trying to get like an ad basically ready, right, to talk to these customers or like a kind of like a proposal. I stayed up till midnight working on this, me and my girlfriend. And I went, yeah, watch this. I said, come here. And he's a big computer guy. I'm air quoting here. I pull up Chat GPT and I put in like 3 prompts. Done. Multiple pages, space, perfect, all the right stuff, smoked him. I go, yours is just a blob of paragraphs. You don't even hit the point. And he's looking, I go, you stay up till midnight doing this? That was less than 2 minutes. Yeah, I got my phone going, less than 2 minutes. That's done. I go, okay, so like, you're not getting paid for that. All right. It's just,
I mean, you're getting paid to get stuff done, not to labor and
that's right. You're not impressing me. You stayed up till midnight. No one asked you to,
yeah. I
first
don't,
of all.
yeah, I don't, yeah, like,
It's just, world's full of fools. You just happen to be one. Okay. It's just, there's tools out there. You got to use them.
oh man. I
So
mean,
I just,
at that point in time, I can only imagine what his face looked like. I'm like,
he was out of a
I need
job
to
the next
rethink my
day.
choice.
The next day he was out of a job. That was the look on his face. Huh?
Yeah,
Said,
yeah.
you can go.
Most persons don't understand that it's about like the thing that we talked about earlier on is that dedication to an unwavering goal. Like it's important we understand what the goal is, right? Because if we're rowing the boat, right, and we're trying to like move forward, and now you're rowing to move backward, I'm like, dude. So guess what? Everybody's like it's counter, and you have to know where do we want to go. So that's okay. Oh, this podcast, we're starting this podcast because we want to create awareness. We want to reach so and so people. And so you start taking initiative, you start taking action, you start saying, okay, no, no, if we do this stuff, this stuff is not related to this podcast. Call it that. It's not, it's exciting, but not what we want to do. That's not what we want to do. And so it's have this crystal clear focus because you know what the goal is. Like it's clear, like you could and it's tangible to you, even though it's not yet real. And so when you make decisions, it's
Yeah, you've created the path, right? You understand the goal, and then you kind of reverse engineer what do I need to do to actually accomplish that without distraction? Like you said, not that guest, not that guest, not this person. I need 2 more people like that for this week. Oh, not that
yeah,
person, not that story. We need that, right? You're really selective. You choose exactly who you have because you understand who you're serving, because you want your listeners to listen to every single podcast, right? They want a reason to tune in. And there's very few out there. I have two podcasts I listen to every week without fail. I listen to others, but they're random. But I have 2 I never miss because they're
oh,
dialed in, they're consistent, we're in total alignment. I love it. I never miss them for years.
no. For me, I've noticed one thing earlier on. You kind of give a hint, right? And it's that people would prefer to, to what's the physical stuff like to engage in a fight, to do something that's really, really stressful and strenuous for the body, right? Rather than doing the work they ought to go like, oh, sit down on the computer and work on reaching out to a couple of clients and try to like see if you can close them for the business. And instead of doing that, they're like, oh, my room looks, there's nothing wrong with cleaning your room.
Yeah.
But I'm like, my room looks dirty. Let me, and you see them, they move all the major furniture, they arrange and redesign and clean every. That stuff is hard.
I call it, they're getting ready to get ready.
Ooh,
They're getting ready to get ready because I just got to move the desk around before I make that first call because I got to make sure my paper's here. I'm missing my favorite pen. I got to go find my favorite pen. Where did I put that? And they spend 35 minutes doing that, right? I mean, I get it. You know, I've kind of been there a long time ago. I would find distractions I didn't like to do. I wasn't a paperwork person. I was a builder. I built things. You know, I'm an artist. I make things and stuff. And if I wasn't doing that, then I didn't really care for that. Sit at the desk. I mean, you couldn't get me fired. I'd write stuff on a napkin and give it to my office manager and say, email this. Like, I wouldn't even send emails, you know, because I just didn't like it. I didn't want to even learn. I just wanted to work and build stuff. But eventually you got to go, you know, you really need to pay attention to some other stuff in your business. You can't just do the fun stuff, you know. So, you know, that's just where it's at.
We shouldn't be so obsessed over the that we forget the reason why we're doing the task.
You have to focus on outcomes. And let me explain this really quick. An outcome is not the trash can's full. Okay, I have a business. Let me put in a little scenario. I have a business. There's a lobby you walk into, right, to talk to someone who, whatever, take on the next step. Well, we have emptied the trash can as part of their daily duties, right? And if it's overflowing, if they don't empty the trash can, the outcome isn't the trash can didn't get empty. That's not the outcome if they don't do it. The outcome if they don't do it, someone walks in the morning and there's an overflowing trash can right where they walk up to talk to the receptionist, whatever, that tarnishes the reputation of the company.
Yeah.
So by you not taking the trash out like you're supposed to, you're tarnishing the entire reputation of the company when a client walks in the office. Think about that. You think you're just the person supposed to take out the garbage. You have you're more than that. And it's not, I'm not trying to elevate the garbage taking out part. I'm just saying, like, everything matters, right? You have to think bigger. You have to think bigger that everything you do affects another thing. That's what's important.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Richard, for sharing your favorite quote with me and making sense of it. I'm really glad that I got to have this conversation.
Me too. I know we hit a few quotes. I kind of we got a few. It's like bonus round. It's like the super bonus episode.
I mean, it's a chain reaction. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. No, but this has been a lot of fun. I appreciate you having me on.
Where can people learn more about you? And
they go to sharpenthespearcoaching.com. That's the easiest, most complete place to go. Sharpen the Spear Coaching.
Yeah. Once again, thank you so much for being an amazing guest on the. You've been listening to Relatable Wisdom, and I've been your host, Wisdom Okonkwo. You've been listening to the podcast where every story, quote, and insight helps you see life a little differently. If you enjoyed today's episode, follow the show on your favorite podcast app and share it with someone who loved the conversation. For more inspiring voices and timeless wisdom, visit relatablewisdom.com. Until next time, keep living, learning, and collecting wisdom that matters most to you.